What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am more awesome now than I was yesterday.
That's
more awesome now than I was yesterday. Right?
okay.
Infinitely more
Infinitely
awesome now
more awesome now than you were
than
yesterday.
I was yesterday.
But yesterday you were also infinitely awesome, but now you're infinitely more awesome than the infinitely awesome that you were. Yes. Oh, okay.
Yesterday.
I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know what the
it equals a lot of
on that. It's a whole lot of.
It's more than some people can handle, but it's okay. It's okay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That is so underwhelming. I am more infinitely awesome than I was yesterday, and you are doing...
I'm doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
Good.
Doing
wow.
Good.
Hit him with the
with the thumbs up. Hey.
Good.
Good.
Good. I'm good.
Doing good.
Well,
sometimes that's all you can ask for. You know?
No. I need to be more awesome than yesterday. It's every day is a growth.
Well, hopefully all of you out there are doing awesome because you're here joining us for another episode of All Things Super. But if you don't know what All Things Super is, every week we take a piece of superpower TV, movie, or trailer. We watch it, react to it, we break it down, we review it, and we ask the question, is it super? But if you like that...
It's super. It's all things super.
It's all things super. We talk about all things super. But if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes going out. If you want the audio version, you can find us on your major podcast streaming services. Just search for All Things Super. But if you want to join in on the conversation with us, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod on the Twitters.
That's not how that's said. Normally me that's
on the tweeters.
You know what? That sounds correct. That one sounds correct.
But if you've been keeping up with our show, you know, of course, we have a new episode come out every week, and we've been doing weekly reviews on a lot of our Disney Plus shows and other different shows as well. We have House of the Dragon. We have House of the Dragon that we've been doing. We're going to get into Rick and Morty once Rick and Morty premieres. But we've been doing She-Hulk. We missed a She-Hulk episode last week, but we never fear.
I'm glad you said that the way you said that, because I'm sure someone was like, did I miss an episode?
Right. So I don't want anyone to think that you missed out on an episode. We had some technical glitches. We had some difficulties. We weren't able to record the episode, but we are back. We're in full effect. Well, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington, is in sort of a medium effect right now. He doesn't have his normal camera.
Hey, man, they don't need to know all that. They just need to know that you were hit with that spoiler warning because we're about to get into She-Hulk episode dose.
Your microphone cut you out completely. Didn't hear.
So guys, I need recommendations on what microphone that I can use. I can get my.
You need honestly, your microphone is too good because it's cutting you off when you get too loud, so you don't peak the audio. So what you need a trash microphone that's not going to cut you off, so you just can be loud as you want to.
It sounds like it makes sense in the world. All things clearly can't be super. We need to identify.
They can be super. They just can't be loud. You can be.
I need to.
All things silent. That's what it's gonna be.
Oh, that's gonna stick. I see that coming. Oh my gosh, She-Hulk, attorney at law.
Yeah, we're getting into spoilers. So since we did miss the last week's episode, we're going to talk about episode 2 and 3. So letting you know now, we're getting into spoilers. So if you're not caught up on She-Hulk, take a minute, go watch the episodes. They're not that long, and then come back to the show, and then you can hear our take on episodes 2 and 3.
Ooh, or you can just watch us.
You can, but we're letting you know you will be spoiled.
We gonna be talking about some stuff in She-Hulk.
Right.
That's gonna make you smile. This is a problem right here. I want this to be known that it's empty, and I just don't understand what's going on.
So, just a little peek behind the curtain.
That's what they want. They want that exclusive.
We recorded an episode prior to this, so we took a little break in between. Now we're starting this recording. I got up. I refilled my cup. I don't know what Mr. VIP Frankie Washington was doing.
You know what? I was looking in the comment section to have conversations with our family. That's what I was doing. And now my throat is parched because it's dried on.
Do you want to go get something to drink?
No, I'm here to talk about She-Hulk, attorney at law.
I can recap the plot if you want to go and get something to drink. So while I'm doing that, then we're still keeping the people entertained, but you can get your drink.
That is so unprofessional and weird and documented and just. Okay, I'll be right back.
People do it all the time. All right, She-Hulk, episode 2. So, after the events of episode 1, where we see Jennifer Walters save the jurors that she's fighting or going up against GLK and H, Titania bursts through the courtroom. Jennifer turns into She-Hulk. She saves the jurors, stops them from being killed. So now everyone knows that Jennifer Walters is an enhanced individual. She has superpower. She can turn into a Hulk. And so she starts off episode 2 dealing with the ramifications of that. Of course, all of the news outlets are going into a tizzy. They try to figure out exactly what they're going to call her. This one random guy coins the term She-Hulk, and Jennifer is like, hopefully that doesn't stick, because I don't want to be a derivative of the Hulk. And so we got his blurry because of your filter.
Of course.
But she's basically saying, I can't even be my own superhero. I have to be a derivative of the Hulk. But so
what I missed.
Just me getting through the synopsis of episode 2.
Did you say how hot she was?
I have not mentioned that. No.
You don't think She-Hulk's hot?
I mean, I feel like my opinion on the matter doesn't make a difference.
Because she's green? Is that what's going on?
I never said that.
Gamora's green.
Gamora is green.
So you got a thing for green ones?
Abomination is green.
Ew, gross.
See? Now who's the person up against green people? Anyway. Yes, he's green. What other color is he?
Sometimes he looks gray. He looked gray in the original.
No, Abomination is green. You're throwing me off track here.
But I am. Disturbance.
So the DA comes into the bar.
DA got that.
They go to a bar. They go to a bar called Legalese. The DA comes into the bar. Jennifer is in her She-Hulk form. Of course, she's being cheered on by all the patrons of the bar. The DA comes into the office, and he is so condescending. He says, "Can I speak to Jen, because this is a serious conversation." So he wants her to depower, turn back into her human form, which they threw in a nice nod, because as She-Hulk, she's been drinking. They went through it in episode 1 that as a Hulk, you have a higher metabolism. Your blood metabolizes at a higher rate. So it takes, it's almost impossible for them to get drunk. So
not from a lack of trying though.
So in the state that she had been drinking in her Hulk form, when she goes back to her human form, that alcohol hits her immediately, and she goes back into human form and immediately almost just falls out because she's drunk now. And so the DA says, this is causing a lot of unwanted publicity to our firm, and we got to let you go. And so she's like, well, what was I supposed to do? Not let the not save the people, let the jurors get hit by a
Right.
table. And he's like, no, you did the right thing, but we still got to fire you. So
How crazy is that?
absolutely
When
awful.
doing the right thing is not doing the right thing.
You did the right thing, you still get penalized for it. It's ridiculous. And so we go through a montage of rejection after rejection after rejection of Jen trying to find a new job with a new attorney's office. And basically people don't want the spectacle of She-Hulk to be in their office. And Jennifer just wants to be a normal person. But it's the same thing that Bruce told her in episode 1. Your life is forever changed now that you're a Hulk. You can't avoid that. This is the way that it's going to be. You can't just be the normal person that you think that you want to be. So she's trying to find a new job. What's up?
Did you throw the spoiler warning out there?
You threw it out there already.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Damn.
I think maybe you shouldn't have refilled your cup because whenever you drink it, you don't need any more of it.
Oh, it's okay. I'm not driving.
So, she's approached by Mr. Holloway from GLK&H. He says that we want you to be, we want to hire you. We want to give you a job. And so Jennifer is elated. She's like, sure, I'll work for you. And so she goes to the GLK&H office. Holloway reveals that I want you to be the head of our superhero law division, but this job is conditional. You have to show up to work. You have to show up to the cases as She-Hulk.
Right.
And so, and I have a thing about that because that's going to come back in episode 3. I have a little note about that.
What's your thing? What's wrong with your thing? What's the thing?
We'll get in once we get in episode 3. I'll mention it. But so
thing. Everybody remember, there's a spider has a thing, a spider thingy.
Don't say it like that. Don't put the E on.
I mean, it's a thingy. What?
It's not a thing. It's not a thingy. But so Holloway tells her that, all right, so you want to take the job? We have a case for you. First case out the gate. We emailed Blonsky, also known as Abomination, is up for parole. We need you to represent him. Present your case to the board so that way he can be paroled. Jennifer immediately says this is a conflict of interest. He tried to kill my cousin Bruce. Holloway's like, it's fine. But basically said that Blonsky has already signed away, like any conflict of interest clause, said that, this is not going to be a problem and all this other kind of stuff. When Jennifer goes to the DLDC Supermax prison, I think it's called the Cube or something like that. I forget what the name of the prison is called. But she goes to the prison, she meets Blonsky, and she gets to talking to him. And Blonsky, if you don't remember the 2008, I believe, Incredible Hulk film with Edward Norton, where we meet Emil Blonsky for the first time, he sort of retells a story from his point of view. And when you listen to it, you're like,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. He was put on orders by the U.S. government to stop a threat. The Hulk was a threat. The Hulk was basically destroying a college campus.
A threat.
Yeah, he was deemed a threat. And so Blonsky was sent there to do a job. And so they injected him with the super soldier serum in order for him to be more effective against that perceived threat. And so what he was saying, it made me, kind of crazy. And so he went out trying to seek more power, trying to be a more effective, I guess, soldier to do his job, to take down the Hulk. He injected himself with Hulk's blood. It ended up turning him into the Abomination.
Now, so I want to say this while you're on this part. If you go back and look at the movie, you can see Blonsky is distraught. Something's going on with him. He's
all
wet,
sweaty, he has this glazed look in his eyes.
And he's like, I want more power. I want more of that. Yes, give me that. Let me get some of that.
Right.
And then he becomes this Abominations character.
That's a real side effect of people who are on drugs. You get addicted to it, you get hooked on it, and it's your pusher who put you on it, and they get you coming back for more. So General Ross put him on that super soldier serum, it affected him mentally and physically to where now he wants more of it. So, you know, he has a case.
He has a good case.
But
and
so
a good lawyer.
he tells Jen that, you know, he's reformed. He's been writing haikus to all the people that he's hurt. He's sincerely apologized. He has 7 soulmates that he intends to, once he gets out, they have land that they've bought for him, and he is intending to just go out to pasture and just, you know,
retire like that.
Retire. Yeah. Just retire. And so Jen, she formulates a plan in her mind, but she's still having a little pause about it because she doesn't know. She was like, well, you tried to kill Bruce, and so I still have some feelings about that. So she calls Bruce up. She talks to him, and she's basically just kind of spouting off at the mouth, just trying to basically get all her thoughts out there. Bruce doesn't have like 2 seconds to get a word in edgewise. And so he's like, I feel like you're calling me to tell me that you're already, you know, you're going to accept the case. And she was like, I pretty much accepted the case. I just wanted to call you just to make sure it was okay with you. He was like, it's all good. Blonsky wrote me we hashed things out way back when. He wrote me a haiku. And
that's great.
And so,
what's the meta line that he used? That was so long ago.
I'm practically a different person now, literally. And a nice little nod because, of course,
Jen breaks the fourth wall and looks into the camera because we all know that he was played by a different actor.
Like, nice. But yeah, so that was a nice little nod. Like, hey, we know, everybody knows that Blonsky didn't go up against Mark Ruffalo. It was Edward Norton's Hulk. It's a different, you know, it's still in the MCU, but it was a different person. But yes, now it is canon. He's a different person entirely. But so
he's smart Hulk.
Yeah. But so Jen asks Bruce if she's gonna see him, if he's gonna be back anytime soon. Bruce is like, no, I think I'm gonna be gone for a while. And then they zoom out, they show that Bruce is on a Sicarian fucking cruiser, and he's flying. He's going back to Sakaar. So Bruce is going back to Sakaar to deal with whatever it is that he needs to deal with.
We talked about this. Mm-hmm. We talked about Bruce having a little baby on Sakaar, if not more than one. He was a champion on there for 2 years. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of championship celebrations.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
With Sicarian delights. I mean,
lights?
Delights.
Okay.
Listen, this show is not ashamed to talk about smashing, okay? And I think it's interesting how they're talking about it. They want you to lead up to this. In the trailer of She-Hulk, before this show actually dropped, we seen there is some promiscuous activities going on in the show. Episode 1, they talked about Captain America and Captain America getting it on a USO tour. On this episode, we're talking about Hulk potentially getting it on.
Well, we don't talk about it. It's never explicitly mentioned.
Bruno?
It's just what?
Scar. We don't talk about Scar?
I'm not saying that we don't talk about it. I'm saying that they haven't talked about it in the show. It's never been explicitly mentioned exactly why Bruce is going back to Sakaar. We know because we know about the Son of Hulk storyline, but as far as the show is progressing, it's never been mentioned.
Well, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go on a wild ride here and say that our good friend over there at New Rockstars, Mr. Eric Voss, did an episode about the reasons that he could be going to Sakaar. It could be for not what we think, and you're right. It could not be because of Scar, or it could be because of Scar, or it could be because they need smart Hulk's brain on a matter. We don't know. We really don't know. We're just making wild assumptions and crazy theories. But they could. I mean, he is the leading expert in gamma radiation.
Right.
So they could be calling him just to utilize his brain. There may be no child at all involved. But because we're fans of the Hulk, And I think everyone is in agreement. We want to see Hulk at his most savage, which is Mephisto, not Mephisto, Maestro, not Maestro, World Breaker Hulk. I just insert words that fit when they fit. And
That was
half the time they don't fit.
the most
So
roundabout way to get back to that.
Yeah, so we want to see Hulk smash. No pun intended.
I think that pun was absolutely intended.
Okay, all pun intended. See all his offspring. Not taking anything away from Jennifer Walters, I'm saying the overall the show is secretly about some adult activities. Because, like I said in the trailer, we seen that she starts to embrace this She-Hulk lifestyle, and she gets it on. And she's dating and doing all kind of stuff because she gets addicted to the lifestyle of She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters, before she was a She-Hulk, was kind of like a mild-mannered attorney. She was kind of normal and regular, but now she's embracing all of these things that come along with being a celebrity attorney, a superpowered attorney, a hero, not for hire, but a hero in the sense of she hasn't been deemed an Avenger yet, but I mean, when your cousin's in the Avengers, it's kind of easy for you to get a slot, right? What's the qualifications to become an Avenger? Let's ask this question.
Yeah, I don't have the paperwork on that, so I have no idea. To have an Avenger,
you gotta be able to do something, though, right?
Yeah, to have an Avenger W an Avenger. That seems the way that Hawkeye did it for Scarlet Witch. Tony did it for Spider-Man. It was just an Avenger dubbing you another Avenger.
Captain America did it for Falcon, right?
I don't know if that was like explicitly said
when
on screen.
He came to Sam's house
and wanted breakfast.
Well, Sam cooked breakfast. We're from the South, so we're right hospitality like that.
Yeah, so but, I guess that was his introduction.
Yeah, because you say Captain America needs help. I can't see a reason why not to get back in. So Sam's an Avenger, where he's not Captain America now. But the point of Hawkeye did it to Scarlet Witch. He said, "You walk out that door, you're an Avenger. I need you to fight." So, is Kate Bishop an Avenger? Because they got close. He was teaching her trick shots, trick arrows.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, it wasn't explicitly stated, so I don't know. I don't think that in the state of the MCU now that there's a clear status on the Avengers, because
I just want to know what does it take to be an Avenger?
I mean, what it takes to be an Avenger, you have to be able to contribute to the Avengers, I guess. But then you also have to have an Avengers call you an Avenger or bring you into the Avengers. So I don't know. I'm sure that's going to be explained at some point down the line.
What are you doing next weekend? We're going to go join the Avengers. At the end of Age of Ultron, there was a bunch of Avengers there. Not Avengers, but at the compound upstate New York in Jersey or somewhere.
Yeah.
Tony was there. Tony was there. Thor was there. Captain America was there. Tony asked Captain America, "What are you gonna do?" He's like, I think I'm home." We saw troops soldiers
running outside,
which we never really seen them again. So were they training to be Avengers?
No, I think
it's an Avenger compound.
I think those are just SHIELD agents. Because you can't. I don't think you can train to. I don't think that was because we hadn't been introduced to no other heroes outside of the ones who were fighting the Ultron robots. So it wasn't. There were no other people that those could have been.
Vision was there.
Yeah, Vision was there. Vision was there. War Machine was there. Falcon was there. Wanda was there. And then it was Cap and Black Widow. So that was your Avengers team. And
then they said they wanted to put Captain Marvel in there too. but they didn't.
She was off world.
Well, they originally they wanted her to show up, but it would have been just jarring because they'll been
like who the hell is this?
She? Who is she and where has she been?
Right.
Which they still got who is she and where has she been when she showed up.
Yeah.
Rhodey. She-Hulk.
Rhodey asking the real questions.
Attorney at law.
So that was episode 2. And also at the end of episode 2, we see that after Jen says that she wants to accept the job, she calls Holloway, saying, hey, I'm going to take the job. I have a surefire case. It's going to be bulletproof, 100%. We're going to win it. And Holloway is like, well, you might want to turn on the TV. Because I think your case just got a little bit harder. And so we see a news report
we get the
where
Shang-Chi reference.
We get the Shang-Chi reference where there's leaked video footage of the Abomination and Wong fighting in a cage fight. So they see that at some point Abomination has broken out of his cell. He's escaped prison and he's in this underground fighting ring. And so Jennifer's like, oh, that's not great. So she has a work cut out for her. We get a post-credit scene. Throughout the episode, Jen went back to her family. Her family's being the way that families are. She has a talk with her dad, and her dad is basically saying, like, it's you're
great power.
Give
you gotta get the speech.
Yeah, he's basically just trying to get her to be more comfortable with who she is. But in the post-credit scene, she goes back to her family's house, and her dad has her doing all of this heavy lifting and doing chores and stuff because she's a Hulk now, and so she's strong. So they can ask her to, like, when you go back to your mom's house and she has you like fixing stuff around the house, cleaning the gutters and stuff like that. It's just basically that's what parents do when you become an adult. What
do you think about Jen's family?
I mean, I feel like they're a typical family. I don't know if we're going to get a lot more of them going throughout the season, but I mean, I don't feel like they took away anything from the episode. Chad, I don't like Chad because Chad is a slacker. He's an idiot. Jen gets to the house and like, oh, all the family's here and everything. It's like, we know you don't want to talk about you losing your job and all this other kind of stuff. They know, but we told them not to mention it. So as soon as Jen walks through the door, Chad's like, hey, you lost your job. It's like, what? It's like, what is wrong with you? It's like, I thought you said mention it. I said don't mention it.
The Chad.
Yeah, it's just he's an idiot. But
it is like when you're down and your family kicked you more while you're down. It's like, damn. Thanks.
That's what family does. So I appreciate that because it made them seem like a real family. Because it's always fun when they add like little bits of realism into the show, and it's like, I can relate to that because I know my family does stuff like that. And it's like, so when you gonna find a new job? It was like, well, it's not like I'm not trying.
Right. So she comes in at the new office and she has cool co-workers, and she brings her, now this is a real friend, she brings her paralegal with her.
Right.
And Nikki, then they come in. What's the guy that brings the gift basket in?
Pug. I love Pug.
With a map for the best place to poop.
Yep.
Pooping is important, okay? Especially for a woman. They want to hold on to their femininity. They don't want to hear or be heard having like monster poops. You're gonna look like it's a She-Hulk poop. That's a She-Hulk poop right there. I can hear it. It sounds like a tiger wrestling a bear, and you don't want any part of it. And they don't want that to be heard. So
God,
you need to know where you can poop in silence. But I mean, I would never think to have made the map. So shout out to Pug.
That just goes to show you Pug's character. Pug is a decent dude, especially in contrast to Dennis, who we met in episode 1, who's just a straight up asshole. We'll see more of Dennis in episode 3. But that was a nice move for Jen to be like, look, you want me to come work for you? I have some conditions. You want me to be She-Hulk? and that's fine. But I'm just letting you know that I want to hire my own. I want to hire my own paralegal. And Holloway was like, I really couldn't care less
Don't
about
care
who
who
you
you are.
hire.
Exactly. Notice a striking contrast, though, right? Because when her old firm talked to her, they wanted her to depower to have the conversation,
Right.
as in he wants her to be She-Hulk all the time,
Yeah.
or coming in, going to work. Weirdest thing, right?
Yeah.
Big difference. Talking about having someone that embraces what you're going through and believe in what you're going through, but not to say without his own gains. Obviously,
Yeah.
the firm looks good to have these superheroes or super villains
Yeah.
defended.
And it said he said so to the point to where this case with She-Hulk representing Blonsky would give them so much publicity that they took the case on pro bono. So
That's strategy.
yeah, and so there's got to be some underlying force or some underlying powers that be that's dictating what cases that they pick up in this superhero or superhuman law division.
Is this going to bite Jennifer in the butt later on? Now that we're looking at like legal ramifications of events that's happening in the MCU, how many more villains will we going to have to go against defending in these situations? If Mysterio comes back alive, we're going to defend him.
I mean, because it's going to, well, I would say for the most part, most of the people that need some type of defense will be a villain. But then you also probably have like sort of what DODC normally does when superheroes cause collateral damage, but then maybe, if somebody is suing a superhero, then maybe Jen is going to come to their defense, or it may be a mixture of heroes and villains. So I don't know if or who else as far as villains go Jen would have to defend, but I would think that at some point it's like, your defense is so good that you're getting off you're getting these villains out of jail, you're putting them back on the street.
So does that cause a rift between someone like the Avengers, or let's just even dial it down? Let's just say Daredevil, because now you have an attorney and a defense attorney. It's only a matter of time before they come across the courtroom against each other. By the way, I picked She-Hulk for the win. Just she's a better attorney. Sorry, we can talk about it in the comments all day. Who's the better attorney? I think She-Hulk wins. In the comments, let's have that conversation.
She-Hulk versus Matt Murdock.
It's going to be a point where they're going to have this conversation, because if we're arresting these guys and taking them to the raft or the cage or wherever we're housing them, and they're getting legal representation, at some point, we're going to clash. I.e., let's say, for example, Kingpin. I think we all know Kingpin's not dead, even though Echo shot him in the face. He may be blind, but I doubt if he's dead. Something's happened with Kingpin between Netflix and Disney Plus that he's ripping door handles off cars or doors off cars.
I mean, he's got hit by a car. He was fine. He got blew up by a grenade and he was fine.
He got shot in the chest with an arrow and he was just like, So we got to get into the story of what happened to Kingpin. And if we're getting Kingpin and She-Hulk defends Kingpin for the actions that he's been doing all over the city,
right?
We're going to have conflict. I can see somebody coming up to Jennifer at night, whether it be a balcony or even coming straight into her apartment, and say things like, you need to stop representing this guy or this girl or whatever. Yeah. And her not taking that lightly because, again, she's a Hulk. But it's interesting that we get that. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that to say that. I know I'm long-winded, but I say this stuff. This is where my mind is going, because you can't just keep defending all these criminals and not have ramifications for it.
Right.
Like John Walker. he went up against the board. Like, you were supposed to be the next Captain America. You openly murdered someone in broad daylight on foreign soil.
Yeah.
The icon of the country is murdering. You see, the seriousness and ramifications of it. It's like you're going to court, and even though it looked like what they gave him a slap on the wrist, it could very well not be over for that super situation. So U.S. agent could go under trial. They opened up a whole new thing when they did this law division, really, because there's so many stories that they can go with if you really want to start holding people accountable for their things. She-Hulk could be an episodic show for quite some time.
Yeah.
Just dealing with the stuff that we've seen from the MCU.
Yeah, you can pull any type of event or anything from any movie, any TV show, just drop them in like, hey, I need representation. So,
right.
Yeah, but no, I agree that there has to, or there could quite possibly be some type of ramification that she has to deal with, just, representing these criminals, representing what we perceive to be as bad guys, because like we said, with Blonsky's testimony and everything, like, yeah, we can see, like, you went crazy, you destroyed, a whole, like, part of Harlem, but so did the Hulk. Hulk also was a part of that, but like Blonsky said, he's being heralded as a hero. I'm being branded as a criminal. And why is that? And
because he's the Hulk. We love the Hulk.
Right.
We don't love Abomination.
Exactly.
It's all the unfair. And branding. It's branding, though. You name yourself the Abomination.
But I don't think he named himself the Abomination, did he?
Yeah, bro. Bruce said you don't get a choice with these names.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true.
She-Hulk, a Turkey of the Law, episode 2, Spider.
Yes.
Is it super?
Yeah, it's super. I like it. I like the way that the show's going. I appreciate the story that they're telling. I'm very eager to see where they're going with the rest of the episodes. So episode 2, I liked it. I really liked seeing Tim Roth come back as Emil Blonsky. I like hearing his rendition. Well, not even his rendition, but his side of the story. His side of what happened in Harlem, what happened in New York, what his whole responsibility or his part to play was in the whole thing. And yeah, the U.S. government put him on orders. They injected him with the super soldier serum. They affected him mentally, and he went down this path to try to get more power so he could take out or complete his mission, the mission that was assigned to him. And just going through Jen's story and just seeing again how her former boss, how he treated her, how he kind of basically like wanted to put her in a position to talk down to her, to let her know, like, we got to let you go. You did the right thing. Yeah, you did the right thing, but we don't want this publicity in our office, so we're letting you go. To, Holloway was like, I want you to be She-Hulk. I want you to embrace that. I want this to be you. I want you to be the face of our superhuman law division. And I want you to appear as She-Hulk. And it's just that difference in the way that people are treating her. Nikki loves it. Nikki sees it like, this is a golden opportunity for you to advance yourself in your career. Dennis thinks it's a ploy. Dennis is like, oh, you've been hiding this just so you can one up me. Like, Dennis's ego is so fragile, and he's like, oh, this is the only reason that you became a She-Hulk is because you feel like you need to, beat me. When Jennifer Alba was already a better attorney than him. So, but he's so disillusioned, and that's gonna come up more.
Dennis, you're so lame. You're so lame.
That's gonna come up more episode 3, but reflecting on episode 2, is it super? Yes, I absolutely feel that episode 2 is super. What say you, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington?
Episode 2, She-Hulk. Listen, it's no secret that we talked about episode 1 and She-Hulk as an overall series. This goddamn show is super. We told you this last time you saw this video on She-Hulk. The question is, are you watching She-Hulk first, or are you watching us first? That's what I need to know. Put it in the comments, because if you're watching us first, I need to know, so when I go, that I'm not really spoiling anything for you. By the way, we are now into spoiler territory. Yeah, I know I did it earlier. I know, but I'm talking about episode 3.
For episode 3 now. Okay.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about episode 3. We already said 2 is super, but I'm going into the third one because we have the hot girl coach, Meg the Stallion, for all the hotties in the MCU. Meg the Stallion is in the MCU, dude.
She is.
What? How's that for a flex?
I mean,
They dropped her name
I'm
like 17 times.
yeah, I am happier I am more happy for her than I am for the MCU because I know she's a fan of superheroes, she's a fan of comic books, she's a fan of anime. So she's made this known in multiple interviews. She's like, yeah, she's a fan of this stuff just like we are.
One of us.
So for her to get the opportunity to be featured in one of the Disney Plus MCU shows, yeah, I'm happy for her. I'm ecstatic. I am elated for Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm so proud of her.
Right.
And she was great. She didn't do a lot, but she was great in it. She was Megan Thee Stallion. It was absolutely phenomenal.
And for anybody that didn't see it, you already got your spoiler warning, but Meg Thee Stallion is in episode 3 of She-Hulk. And it's interesting because we got a little B story, which is the A story that drops to the B story. We have a shape-shifting Asgardian elf who pretended to light elf, not to be mentioned confused with the dark elves, right? But they weren't ever from Asgard, were they?
No, and she's not from Asgard. She's from New Asgard. So she moved to New Asgard from
wherever.
Elfenheim.
Okay. So which they did say that in Thor Love and Thunder that the New Asgard was more like it's not sanctuary, but more like a haven because there were other races or countries or planets realms in New Asgard. They explored that with the kids. Like everyone that was there wasn't original Asgardian. So
they were all Asgardians.
So the shape-shifting light elf is pretending to be Meg Thee Stallion and dating Dennis. Yes, that Dennis, the same Dennis we were just talking about, the asshole Dennis. And he was thinking that taking nothing away from Dennis, if you can pull a Meg Thee Stallion, by all means, pull it. But pull her. Sorry, didn't mean to say it. But the thing about it is, all these things that should line up didn't line up. Like the fact that Meg Thee Stallion was driving
a Passat.
Oh.
$175,000 that he spent.
I think he tried to downplay it. It probably was more than that.
He probably.
But that part, I can believe. Like if you gonna get with Meg, you better get your chips up. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to stack the chip, like cause she don't need you. Like she got her own money. Like you probably paying your own way. You know what I'm saying? She's straight. So, but the fact that she would drive such a lower end, no disrespect to anybody that owns. I don't want y'all to.
I don't even know if they still make Passats.
Oh, thank God. I didn't want to offend anybody.
I mean, that's not to say that somebody still doesn't have one. I just don't know if there are any 2022 Passats out in the streets right now.
I hope not. But if there are, then you made a wise choice. And as long as it can get you from A to B safely, then it's an awesome automobile. But Meg Thee Stallion is probably not driving. And that should have been a red flag to let you know that something's wrong. But hey, people get catfished all the time. And this is a whole shapeshifter.
There are 22 Passats.
There are 22?
Yeah, there are.
As in only?
No, that's not that there are only 2022 Passats. There are actually new models of the Volkswagen Passat.
Meg's not driving it.
No.
Unless she's being paid to drive. Now, if they want to cut Meg a check to promote their Passats, that would have been a flex out of that.
That would have been a flex.
But Dennis is in trial now because he's, again, And even though Jennifer is not the attorney on his case, what's that guy's name?
Pug.
Pug's the attorney on the case, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to win this case because Dennis is an idiot and an asshole and a chauvinist, and he's meant to be this way. Don't think that I'm taking anything away from the actor himself. I think he's doing a great job playing the role as an asshole very well. But his character is going through this situation, and we got to see how he's going to get out of it. In the meantime, in between time, Jennifer is coming in, Jennifer Walters, her show, when she even says, breaking the fourth wall, let's not forget whose show this is. Because we had cameo after cameo after cameo, but it's her show. And I thought that was a cool little nod because she was right. We had Bruce in the first one, Blonsky in the second one.
We got Wong in this one.
And in the third one, we have Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. Because the last episode, we talked about how Blonsky escaped and went to cage fighting. We realized it wasn't Blonsky escaping. It was Wong breaking him out.
Mm-hmm.
Wong? What are we doing?
Forced him. Did not give him a choice.
He said,
you have to break. I'm taking you out of this prison.
That's not very Sorcerer Supreme.
Here we thought, when we watched Shang-Chi, that there was like some kind of agreement between the government and the Sorcerer Supreme, and they were like giving like Blonsky like an early release program type thing. So it was like, we're allowing you to come to do these cage fights to get out your aggression, all these speculation and all these assumptions we were making.
Or something. Yeah, right. Makes sense.
And we thought, Wong was just working with him, kind of like just his partnership program type thing. Turns out, Wong was like, I'm taking you to this cage fight. I need a sparring partner. I'm picking you. You are coming with me. You have no say in the matter.
But that's crazy because, again, if you go back and watch Shang-Chi, which I'm sure that's what the idea is, to reference this movie so you go back and watch, didn't they announce Wong and they announced the Abomination, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wong probably
signed him up. So that had to be set up.
Yeah, Wong probably signed him up. Wong put his name on the list.
What is going on? Like, why is this? All the things that Sorcerer Supreme could be doing, we're having illegal cage fights just for sparring matches? It just seems kind of out of character for Wong. I got to throw that out there.
It really does.
It doesn't seem like something that Wong would do. But he did it, and we just don't understand why he would do it. But the Force of villain, and Blonsky is a villain, he's an Abomination. Mm-hmm. Maybe not looked at as a villain, but we knew him as a villain.
Right.
To be in these cage fights, and we still don't really get an answer for that. Wong is just like, yeah, I'm responsible. And then when they say, Wong, you broke the law, Wong's like, I gotta go.
He was like, you do understand that you aided the escape of a convicted criminal. I must take my leave.
That sling ring was working in overtime. The phone came out. I'm gone. And it was like, man, this is what we doing? Like, it just seemed very out of character.
Running away from... Is it a Skrull?
It's who a Skrull?
Is Wong a Skrull?
Wong? Okay. See, now we're talking.
You know what? I just wanted to put it out there. No. I just wanted to put it out there.
Let's go down this little rabbit hole that we
still got to talk about the rest of the episode.
Secret Invasion is coming.
It is.
Everyone that follows us knows the conversation can go anywhere.
Right. So we still got to talk about the rest of the show.
Once you click, it's like opening Pandora's box. Who knows what's going to come out? Hope. So, Secret Invasions is coming. I can't wait to see Nick Fury. I can't wait to see Samuel L. Jackson reprise his role as Nick Fury and come through with all of these Skrulls that's impersonating everyone else. Now, Skrulls can impersonate the person. Super Skrulls can impersonate the person and their powers.
Right.
That may be a toot more than minute, man. So we haven't got there yet. Marvel is good about building up, and they show rather than tell. We talked about that many a times. Is it a scroll? Wrong. Good question. But the question is, why? Why would they do what they're doing?
I don't know. I have no answer to that.
Could be a scroll. That's a great question. If you think it's a scroll, let us know in the comments. The question is, who else do you think is a scroll? Secret Invasion is coming. She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. There was no long drop kick this episode. Thank God for that. And they really didn't talk about Titania or, what was going on. Why did she attack the courtroom?
No.
I'm pretty sure we're not finished with her.
No,
we're gonna get her
again. I've seen clips there. She's coming back. She's gonna be in different scenes later this season. So hopefully we get some type of explanation as to what happened with that.
And we get to see Jennifer Walters. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
He does adult things. This show is an adult show. It's like Sex and the City mixed with something else.
I wouldn't say that it's an adult show, but it's definitely not geared toward young children.
I can agree with that. We're talking about ass. So she has a picture of Captain America's ass on her phone.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
That's America's ass. I think Chris Evans has to be loving the idea of, having people glorify his butt.
Maybe.
I mean, I can't see a reason to be mad about it. I wish somebody would glorify my butt on a massive scale. Because Scott Lang says that's America's ass. Chris Evans even said that's America's ass. And then now Jennifer Walters have a picture of her his ass on her screensaver.
Well, where did she get the picture from? Because it seemed
Great
like
question.
it seemed like the uniform that he was wearing was his original World War II uniform.
Hey, if anybody took a picture of that ass.
So here's one thing, because in
the Smithsonian?
Yeah, because in the Winter Soldier, he robbed the Smithsonian of the uniform.
Right.
And I just don't know where he would have been, where that picture would have been taken, because he was on the run. He was on the run from the law.
Apparently that ass can't hide. That ass is known throughout the borders. So,
but looking
for a flag to smash.
Looking for a flag smash. So we got our A storyline where Jen is representing Blonsky, and they're trying to get with Wong so Wong can provide testimony to basically exonerate Blonsky from escaping prison. Then we have our B storyline where Pug is representing Dennis, and in the Megan Thee Stallion storyline, and we bring the two stories together at the end because we're talking about actual, like, the people and their perception, how people perceive them. And so they're sitting in the bar at Legalese, and Pug is just exasperated. He's like, I don't know how y'all work with Dennis. The dude is just unbearable. He's an idiot. And so Jennifer was like, he's delusional. He's deluded. He really thinks that he's God's gift to women. He he thinks he's the greatest thing walking the earth. And Pug has this realization, is like, would you be willing to testify that in court? And Jennifer was like, I would be more than happy to. Jen gets on the stand. She lays into Dennis, just like calls him out on everything. But it's enough to convince the judge, like, yes, because the defenses, their case was that Dennis had to know that wasn't actually Megan Thee Stallion. Any person of any normal intelligence, right? Any person of a normal level of intelligence would know that this was not Megan Thee Stallion, that they were participating in some type of fantasy role play, and that Dennis, once he was no longer satisfied with the role play, then he wanted to get out of it and get his money back. That was the defense's case. Prosecution cases that now Jennifer's on the stand. This dude is an idiot. he clearly is so delusioned that he would really be fooled to think that that was actually Megan Thee Stallion. And then Megan Thee Stallion is in the background. That's right, because there's only one Megan Thee Stallion with her little
Real hot girl
fan
shit.
matching her pink outfit with the fan. And it's just like perfect timing. But so they get out of the courtroom, and I'm trying to remember what Dennis said because it kind of like stopped and sparked something. Oh, Dennis was saying that he was wondering if anything could be done. So I forget the elf's name.
Barky.
No, it was something. It was like it was a short name. I want to say it was like Riva or something like that. But
I don't know the name
from, but basically saying that I wish there was something that could stop them, or basically stop Light Elves, or stop her from going around impersonating people. Because not only did she impersonate Megan Thee Stallion, when the judge said that he was going to sentence her, or well, when the judge was saying that, you know, we're going to have a recess, or, you know, we're going to re-adjourn our case on another day, she went up on this on the bench and impersonated the judge. And even her attorney was like, federal crime. Yeah, even her attorney was like, no, that's a federal offense to impersonate a judge. Get down here. And the Light Elf was like, and just like thinking everything is all well and fun. Not only that, another part that made me laugh was the elf's attorney was saying that, you know, the elf has diplomatic immunity because she's the daughter of an elf chief or an elf priest or whatever, and she has diplomatic immunity in New Asgard. And the judge said, well, we're not in New Asgard. And so the elf stands up and was like, Your Honor, New Asgard is not a place, it's a people. He's like, Thor's inspirational speeches are not admissible in court. Don't come here with all that bullshit. Don't even start.
But I wanna go back to something that you said just a recent, and say when they were talking about making sure that she doesn't have the ability to change into, you know, anybody else.
Right.
Are we looking at these collared inhibitors?
Right, because Bruce had an inhibitor. Bruce had an inhibitor on his arm, preventing him from turning back into the Hulk. Because he said before, he turned into the Hulk again, you know, he's not going to be able to turn back. And we saw the only reason that he turned back was because psychologically he got beat by Thanos and they turned him back into Bruce. But so that kind of turns something, or kind of like sparks an idea in Jen's head. It's like, well, if I don't want to be She-Hulk, maybe I can figure out some kind of way to get some kind of inhibitor that inhibits me from turning into She-Hulk.
I don't think it's going to go for She-Hulk. I think it's going to go for everyone else. I think we're looking at an X-Men storyline coming into play.
Down the road, then potentially, yes. But in that scene, in that moment, Jen has that thought in her head. Well, if there was something like that I can inhibit my ability to transform, then I can still live my life out as regular Jennifer.
I don't get that one, because she could transform at will and control it at will. I think this is more of, we have more super enhanced humans and elves and over OP characters. So we want to know the great nullifier abilities in the world. I think we're looking at these collars, which were introduced in the first X-Men and then reintroduced in Deadpool. These mutant collars that go around your neck and hold your ability to not be able to use your powers. We could be looking at the potential of that in the MCU, because we don't have it right now.
No, we just have, because Bruce said that his inhibitor was a prototype.
Right. So hopefully he took all that.
It was the second mention of an inhibitor.
Hopefully he takes all that information with him to wherever he's going, that trash ass planet of Chicago. But the devil's anus on it.
Yeah. But
What?
so
It's true.
yeah, I know that's what it's called. It's called the Devil's Anus. But so we get Jen talks to Wong. They lure Wong in with a thirst trap because they look on Wong's LinkedIn profile and they see that he's currently the Sorcerer Supreme. He was a librarian in Comertage, and before that he worked at Target.
Hey,
I mean, you had to have a job doing something,
you know
but
how it is.
when they see that he's a librarian, Nikki was like, "Oh, I'm gonna send him a thirst trap. I need to get some books." So she takes a picture of herself with some books in her hand, and she sends it to him. And then he shows up, and he's like, "Where are the books?"
Hey, you promised me books, baby. What the books that you was talking about? I'm here to read. You know what I'm talking about?
But so they finally get to talk to Wong. Wong says, "Yeah, I was the one that broke him out. I didn't give him a choice." And so it's like, "Will you be willing to testify and say that?" And so he agrees to it. And so Jennifer goes back to Blonsky's parole hearing. His 7 soulmates are in the window,
Lined up. They ready.
They
We got
ready.
some consummation going on.
And so the thing that I was referring to back in episode 2 was that Holloway said that I want you to be the face of our superhero law division, show up to work as She-Hulk, but when you're trying cases, that you should also be She-Hulk. Now, when she was at Blonsky's parole hearing, now this wasn't necessarily a public case, but even when she was walking in and out of the DODC, out of the prison, she was walking in and out as Jen.
She-Hulk.
She wasn't going in as She-Hulk.
Mm.
So I don't know if that's going. I don't think it's going to come into play because I don't think it was really an issue because she was still like able to like complete the whole case and get Blonsky paroled, but she was doing it as Jen. She wasn't doing it as She-Hulk. So I don't know if that was just kind of intentional.
A continuity thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was intentional because he said that, I want you to try cases as She-Hulk, show up to work as She-Hulk. Just anytime you're working, you are She-Hulk. And so that was just one little thing that I noticed, like going for episode 2.
Here's something that I noticed, and I didn't understand why is this. Now, any other time we see She-Hulk in an outfit that's complementary to, her and her fashion, her individual style. This episode 3, she was in this business suit that just looked awfully weird on her. It
on
just
Jen
looked like
on She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. She had a suit on with some flats, and I dive deep like this, so into details. But the suit looked like it was too big for She-Hulk. So I'm wondering what was the reason. I know there's a reason. They're gonna probably reveal it into the next episode, which we get into on the trailer. You see her stepping out on the town, and she's wearing this gown, and she looks fabulous. And I'm wondering why they decided to go that route, besides the obvious of a big reveal of feeling confident and empowering and wearing something that's more flattering and feminine in your Hulk form.
Yeah, I think that might be the actual reason is because you're working in a business environment, whether you're a 6'7" woman or you're a 5'4" woman. You're not wearing something that's form fitting, that's, like you said, flattering to the feminine form. You're dressing for a business attire. So her suit, where I know that as Jen, her suit is a little bit baggier because when she transforms into She-Hulk, she wants to not rip everything that she transforms into.
Yeah, I think everything is spandex now, right?
Or some type of spandex material, maybe. But I think that even as She-Hulk, she doesn't, like you said, because she's not necessarily as comfortable just yet. We see at the end of the episode, she's sort of leaning more into becoming more comfortable as being She-Hulk. But I think that she's dressed that way because she's not trying to show off her body. She's still trying to be taken seriously. She's still trying to be respected. So she doesn't want to have something that's skin tight.
What are you trying to say? If you wear skin tight stuff, you're not respected.
I say that if a woman is wearing skin tight stuff, that men find it or find more reasoning behind it to objectify them, and I think she might be trying to avoid that.
Mm, mm, mm. No reason whatsoever.
Like,
Making this noise.
like what? But so Jen goes to Blonsky's parole here, and they present evidence from personnel from the prison. We have some guards.
Strong case.
Very
strong case.
Blonsky started a literacy program. He helped the guard get over his divorce.
Yeah,
he was
emotional time.
He was like, let it out. He started crying. He was like, all right, that's enough of you. I think
that's enough.
I think we're done.
We're done with it. Can we get him out of here? So we're done with that. And he left prison and came back to prison on his own.
Right. Wong
he could have transferred to the Abomination at any point in time, and he could have left.
Yes, and he showed that to the to the parole board. They were like, how can we be sure that you're rehabilitated? How can we be sure that you're not going to go on any type of rampage ever again? And so he politely stands up, takes off his Crocs, put them put them up a little bit away from him. He turns into Abomination. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like going crazy.
One of the best reaction shots in the goddamn MCU. Like, that's what your reaction should be.
Right. But the 7 Soulmates, they were loving it. They were about to pass out because they were so enamored with them. But so Blonsky turns into the Abomination, but he's like, everybody chill, everybody calm down. I'm fine. I'm not freaking out. Everybody else is freaking out. He like moves his shoes again, just to let everybody know, like, I have total control over all of this. And so Jen gets him to power back down. He powers back down. He's like, all right, calm down. He gets his blanket. He wraps himself up because, of course, he rips out of his clothing. And so he's like, that's just to show you. And, Jen is basically saying, this is just to show you he has complete control over it. And I would probably say that when he reconciled things with Bruce, however long that it took, then Bruce probably gave him some pointers, some insight, because we know that Bruce had been practicing meditation all the way back to the Incredible Hulk movie back in 2008. He had been doing those meditations, those breathing exercises in order to control his rage, to not impulsively turn into the Hulk when he didn't want to. And so yeah, and so he probably he probably gave Blonsky some pointers, got him, talked to him about like all of the meditation stuff and things like that. And then so when Wong finally shows up, because Wong was late, and Jen was like, I don't understand how someone can be late when you have virtually zero travel time. You can sling ring wherever you want to sling, and you can just get there instantaneously. But so Wong finally shows up. He gives his testimony. He says that, he forced Blonsky to leave. And he even gave the Blonsky opportunities, like, we can give you refuge on Comertage. You can stay here. You don't have to go back. Blonsky willingly went back to serve out the rest of his sentence. And that convinced the parole board that he was a changed man. He was rehabilitated. And so they end up granting him his parole.
Jennifer Walters is a better lawyer than Matt Murdock.
I mean, how many cases have we seen Matt Murdock
lose?
Well, prosecute, I was just going to say.
How many did he win that you saw?
I mean, he kept Karen out of jail.
Didn't Karen die?
No, Karen didn't die.
She didn't die.
No, Karen was in Punisher season 2, wasn't she? I don't know. I'm so far removed from the
Netflix.
Yeah, I'm so far removed from the Netflix series. But I mean, even if Karen didn't die, that doesn't mean that he didn't defend her successfully.
She would have lived if she was in jail.
I don't know about that, because we saw what happened when Frank Castle was in jail, how they tried to kill him.
Frank Castle killed a lot of people before he went to jail.
Frank Castle also killed a lot of people when he was in jail.
Shout out Frank Castle.
Shout out John Bernthal as the Punisher. Dude was wild.
Hey man, if he comes to the MCU, or let me say this: when he comes to the MCU, you might want to put your foot soldiers in like a different program or something, because you go mow through them like a lawn.
They are gonna last against Punisher. But so that's episode 3. Blonsky's paroled. Jen wins her case. And then we get to our post-credit scene, which is probably one of the best post-credit scenes in all of the MCU. And it's just She-Hulk, Megan Thee Stallion twerking, having fun. And even Holloway walked up, he saw, he was like, and then just walked off. Like, he ain't got a problem with
nothing about that. That's real hot girl shit. You can't do nothing about real hot girl shit. They twerking in your office. You can watch or you can walk away, but it's happening. And we was a joy to see She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, and Megan Thee Stallion having a moment.
Yeah, she was like, I would kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. She's like, all right, dial it back.
Dial it down, dial it back. Let's calm down.
Right.
Is it super?
Hell yeah, it's super. This is a great show. I am loving She-Hulk. It's funny. It's driving forward these MCU storylines. Oh, and we still didn't. There was another the last scene. Before I get into my justification as to why I think it's super. The last scene that we get into, Jennifer is walking back to her car, and she gets ambushed by what we're perceiving is to be the wrecking crew. There's these 4 guys. They have these powered tools. One of them has.
They have
Asgardian. They've robbed the Asgardian construction worker.
No. Remember the Avengers 1? The Chitauri. They got Chitauri tech.
That's not Chitauri tech. Unless that's Chitauri tech infused into regular tools, then maybe.
It looks like Chitauri tech.
The Chitauris did not come down with crowbars and hard hats.
No, not that. You're right. They did confirm it was Asgard construction tools, but it sure looked like, because they had the. Remember Homecoming, Spider-Man, and how they was cleaning up the refuge from the attack.
Yeah,
and they were using their own tools. Like Tooms said, you got to use their stuff on their stuff.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff looked like that stuff. I'll say that. But they did confirm that it was.
Yeah, she said, did you rob a Asgardian construction worker? And it's like, yeah. But so these 4 guys, one had a hard hat, one had some like gauntlets, one had a crowbar, one had like a ball and chain type thing. And
all of it was true too.
And so they run up on Jen. They're like, I forgot what they said. Give us your money or something like that. And immediately she starts to freak out. And she's like, oh my God. And she was like, oh, wait. She was like, had to remember, I can turn into a superhero. So she turns into the She-Hulk. And she's like, all right, let's do this. And so they attack her. They get their asses beat. One of those dudes should have died. She threw him up. He landed on his neck. He should have been dead. He should have been done for. But
who's going to represent She-Hulk?
That's a good question. That's a good question. It was self-defense. She can represent herself.
It was self-defense.
So one of the guys tries to stab her. Of course, as a Hulk, she has impenetrable skin. They retreat. They get back into their van, and the leader guy with the crowbar, he asks him, did you get it? And he's like, no, I couldn't penetrate that ugly green skin. Why you had to go and call her ugly? I don't know. That's just out of pocket.
Emotion. That's just emotion. That's hurt. That's all.
But so they say that the boss is not going to be happy. So obviously there's somebody pulling the strings behind these guys. They want to get Jennifer Walters' blood. Somebody's trying to create a Hulk.
Is it the leader?
Is the leader? Is it Kingpin? Is it the power broker? You know?
Ooh.
I would say, and I know we talked about General Ross before, rest in peace, William Hurt. If he hadn't passed away, and I thought that he might, make an appearance in the show, I would say it might have been General Ross. But, I don't know where they're going to go with that storyline. But we don't know who it could be. We don't know who the boss is. But somebody wants
I don't normally do this, Spider, but I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out the bag.
Always do.
What?
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
You say you don't normally do this. I say you don't normally do something that you always do.
Yeah, you got it right. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let everybody know that's listening to the show. It was me. I'm the one that wants the She-Hulk's blood. I gotta get me some of that sweet, sweet Jennifer Walters blood, so I can, Hulk out and be an abomination. But again, comics are weird because they have to make these things something that it wouldn't happen to the person no matter how hard you tried. So no one should be trying to put gamma anything inside your bloodstream. I can guarantee you're not going to be a Hulk in this life.
No.
You'll be dead in this life and something else in that other life. Don't do that. There's your real warning.
There's your real warning. Your real life warning.
That's your real life. No harm. Just
no
don't
harm.
do it.
Just facts. But yeah, so to answer the question, is it super? Yes. Episode 3 is super. It is pushing forward the story. There's a lot of complaints about She-Hulk being disjointed, not connected to anything. There's no overall storyline. We finally get to see, not necessarily stakes, but we get to see that there is some antagonist, because up until now there has not been a force that Jennifer has to go up against. Up until now, the only force that Jennifer has been having to go up against is herself, not knowing if she wanted to be a Hulk. She's actively fighting, wanting to be perceived in the public eye as only She-Hulk. She still wants to be respected as Jennifer Walters. So now we see there's another opposing force who obviously wants her blood. So we'll see exactly how that comes into play in the coming episodes. But I appreciate that because we got to grow with Jen a little bit. We see in that final shot, after she's defeated the Wrecking Crew, she stands up, she looks at her reflection in a car, and I think she's starting to be more comfortable with being She-Hulk, and she's starting to see the benefits of it. And so we might get in these next episodes that, like you said, she's more comfortable in wearing those form-fitting clothes. She's more comfortable in her femininity as She-Hulk. So she's going to go out to these events. She's going to be seen publicly as She-Hulk, and she's going to make something out of it. And so being in the public eye more, I think that's going to draw more attention to her, and whatever this opposing force is, it'll be easier for them to come at her. So I don't know. I'm enjoying I'm enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the ride. It's funny in places where it needs to be funny, but it's not so much to where it's like forcing jokes at every single beat. We're still getting, I'm sure Blonsky talked about, they ask if once he's released, what is he going to do for unemployment? He said he's going to open up a meditation retreat on the land that his 7 soulmates have purchased for him. So we're going to see more of Blonsky. We've seen in promo footage that Jen is sort of sitting in his circle, or She-Hulk is sitting in his circle. They're obviously talking with some other, I guess, powered or enhanced individuals. We saw that there were some people who just looked a little different. So I think Titania is going to be there as well. So we may get to finally learn more about Titania. But yeah, so I love it. It's definitely super. So far, it's been one of my favorite shows on Disney Plus.
Ooh, a lot of feet in the show. There's a lot of feet. Go back and watch. There's a lot of emphasis on the feet.
I hadn't noticed that.
It's like a foot fetish dream, I guess, because I'm serious. It's like, okay, so normally there's not, unless you're going to see like a Quentin Tarantino movie, then you're expecting to see feet. But in this show, I was mentioning it to Keisha, like, there's a lot of foot stuff in here. It's like, are they going for that audience? Like, are they? It's subtle though. It's not It's not over the top. It's not forced. But normally, you don't get a pan from the floor all the way up. Then they do a lot of emphasis on taking shoes off and not destroying the shoes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of feet stuff. So I don't know if one of these lady directors are into feet or if they know that there's an audience that are into feet. But again, it's not
egregious.
It's not egregious. Yeah. It's tastefully done. And if, like you said, you didn't even notice. I just noticed because I didn't take everything. I was like, there's a lot of feet stuff in there. Like, for example, when Jennifer has an accident in episode 1, the flashback, you could have shown her cut and, just the blood going into her cut, but they made sure that they showed her feet as well. And it wasn't just to show her feet. You got the veins going through and you can see the chains, but there's a lot of feet stuff in there. In fact, if you go back and watch from the beginning to now, you could probably take a shot for every time you saw feet, you're going to be drunk. It's just not the norm. It's just not and I think that's why it's sticking out because I'm not used to seeing.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's your She-Hulk drinking game. You see feet, take a shot.
See Jennifer Walsh's feet, take a shot. If you see all feet, you might need to be hospitalized.
Yeah. But Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, episode 3 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, is it super?
I feel like I want to say the whole show is going to be super, but the reason that we're going by episode to episode is because we can identify which episode wasn't super. This felt like it could have been on that level, but it got Megan Thee Stallion in it, so goddamn, it's super from the beginning, and nothing else had to happen. Meg's in it, and that made it super by itself. I don't care what she did, it's Meg. But overall, the episode is still super because we're getting progression. And we're getting a way that other production companies may want to take notice because this show is being done and is being done right. It's not the agenda or so woke that is just jarring to watch.
And that's another thing that we kind of didn't talk about. They were on the nose with that because the episode starts out because there's all of these news reports about She-Hulk, and they go through like the YouTube feeds and all the news reports talking about Jennifer Walters, calling her the big green woman, and you look at these comments on all of the videos, and there's like the TikTok videos of the Jews talking in the cars like, well, I don't understand why all these women, we have to have women superheroes now, it's She-Hulk, what's next, they Hulk, and all this other kind of stuff. Like, they were on top of it, like they knew what kind of reaction that they were going to get. And it's like true to life because you have people in real life talking about, oh, the show is too woke because they're talking about that. Jennifer is talking about her trauma and how she has to deal with it. She's comparing it, saying it's worse than Bruce's trauma and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, that's not what she's saying. She's not comparing it to it, which is, it's like she's saying that yes, you had to come to terms on how to deal with your aggression and how to deal with your rage after you became the Hulk. Me as a woman, I have to keep my emotions in check on a constant basis. So it's not comparing trauma. It's saying that my trauma is different from your trauma, but I am more used to it because it's something that I already have to do. And it's like, it's not saying that I do it better than you, is saying I do it also. And it's like, I don't understand how people can't understand that. And they took that scene and they were just like on it. They were on it. They knew exactly what these people were going to say, and they wrote it into the show beautifully.
I think he said she could get it.
Who said that?
That teen that he made a TikTok or something.
Yeah, he did.
That's real right there. That's the real reaction. Like, oh, She-Hulk, she could get it. It's like, oh, okay.
You are absolutely right. I completely forgot about that one.
That's my guy.
They threw it in right at the end. It
right
was like real quick.
She can get it.
Like, she can get it.
That 6'7" can go down. There's a lot of promiscuity on this show and feet stuff. There's Promiscuity and feet. That's what you got with She-Hulk. Bet you episode 4 there'll be an emphasis on feet.
Oh,
I'm telling you right now.
We'll have to see.
Okay.
But let us know what you thought about She-Hulk. Leave us a comment below. Let us know episodes 2 and 3. If you're all caught up, let us know what you thought about She-Hulk. If you liked it, if you think that it can be improved. Listen, I know we were talking about, these guys who are bashing and talking about it's too woke, talking about it's pushing the agenda, whatever. If you have criticism about the show, then criticisms are more than welcome.
Yeah, we're more than welcome to have that conversation.
Exactly. But you can't just say, oh, the show's too woke, because there's no agenda that any show is trying to push across. And so if you have criticism, put it in the comments. Let us know. Let us know why didn't you like this episode, or why didn't you like the last 2 episodes, or why don't you like the show?
Why you don't like this episode?
Why you don't like Megan Thee Stallion? And then make sure you tag Megan Thee Stallion in exactly why you don't like her, so she can see it too.
Mm-hmm. You don't want that smoke. You don't want that hot girl smoke. Real hot girl smoke.
Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought about She-Hulk. But remember, if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, but don't forget to click on the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes go up. If you want the audio version, you can find us on all of your major podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Because
I don't know what's coming after She-Hulk.
You don't know what's coming after She-Hulk?
Yeah, after She-Hulk, I don't.
Oh well, I mean, there's always something.
I'm not gonna watch I Am Groot.
Those are just shorts. Those, you're not missing anything. They have no tie-in to the continuity of Guardians of the Galaxy, so you're not necessarily missing anything, because all of this it's baby Groot. So this is even before Guardians 2, because Guardians 2 had teenage Groot in it, right?
Yes.
No. Guardians 2 had baby Groot. It was baby Groot in Guardians 2.
Yes.
It was he became teenage Groot at the end of Infinity War.
Groot.
And
baby Groot.
End of Guardians 2, in the post-credit scene, that's when he was teenage Groot. And so this all happened, whenever it happened. It happened somewhere in between.
Which is so crazy, because he can really age himself to whatever age he wants to. He can grow his limbs back. It's just okay.
I don't know. But yeah,
it was an opportunity to sell merch.
You're not missing anything from watching Baby Groot. That's like if they came out with a Grogu show. It's just going to be in addition to the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and all sorts of kind of stuff. Has no real consequences on the actual show. But if they're
smart, they'll do it because everyone loves Grogu.
Exactly.
More than Groot.
And there we go. Boom. Other side. Boom. Grogu. I hate this reverse thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, audio listeners. It's just I'm looking at myself. I had to get my left and my right all situated. But
no, that's fine.
Until next time, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.
This show is crazy, man. This show is bananas.